What is one big idea that you're exploring recently?
I guess I could say it, but I'm learning about courses.
Courses would be that big idea.
Yeah, for sure. Like um I would say 8 hours a day for the past 2 months.
Okay, I'm very, very intrigued and excited. I don't know anything about this. So whenever this gets
Hypothetically.
revealed, hypothetically, I think it'll be very interesting. God, I can't imagine. Well, no, I guess I can imagine a course by you would be freaking amazing and very useful because I think when I see your stuff, you have this kind of principle like access as creative freedom. Would you agree?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think one thing that I want to emphasize in this is just like, it's not just about the knowledge, it's about the consistency and it's about habit. And if anything, no matter what type of knowledge I am teaching, I always want to implement those habits more than anything. Because regardless of whatever you're learning, whether it's like sewing or learning how to speak in public, I think knowing the habits of being consistent and taking care of yourself will get you anywhere in life. And so, yeah, that's kind of a big thing that I always really try to push.
Has there been any philosophies lately that you've been exploring?
The thing that has really stuck with me is it's hard either way. It's hard if you do it, and it's hard if you don't do it. And I'd much rather have the end result be something that I can actually like live from than dealing with the hardship of not doing it and knowing that I could have done it. I really started seeing this when I started training my puppy. I was like, I want to learn everything. I want to learn how to do this with her and blah, 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 the cutesy little tricks and stuff. But I also wanted to teach the fundamentals of like having a companion for life, for their life. And it was like hard work, it's consistency, it's patience. But then I also was running into so many people who were like, "Oh my gosh, it must be so hard like to train her." And I was like, "It is, but it's way harder to live with a dog that is not trained and having to spend instead of one or 2 years of really like just diving into it, really hard training, or 12 years of a bad dog." And it made me kind of reflect on my endeavors and the things that I'm pushing towards because sometimes I am like, oh my gosh, it's so hard. Like learning a new thing or taking the time to be consistent, like that is hard, but it's so much harder to just not do it. It's front end work. So yeah, it may not feel hard in the beginning when you're not doing it, but the long term, that pain, that burden feels so much more heavy than the pain of the discipline that comes with that front end work. So that's a philosophy that I've been really obsessing over with lately in my decision making.
I love that. So it's like putting the actual work up front so that you can reap the benefits of it being easy later versus
Yeah.
not putting the work up front and then just suffering forever because of
Yeah.
not putting in the energy needed.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the misconception is that it's just not hard. Like it's going to be way more hard if you do it. But I would argue that it would be way more hard if you didn't do it, especially when it's something that you wanted to do or it's something that you dreamt of having. Like I just feel like the burden weighs so much more heavy than just not doing it.
Yeah, you ever heard of that the delayed gratification marshmallow experiment?
No, I have not.
It totally aligns with what you just shared
Love that.
philosophically.
I love
So
that.
I assumed you'd yeah, I'll share it with you because I was like, "Oh my god, you're
Yeah.
talking about the marshmallow experiment."
Yeah,
They
there's
put
no
this
way that I thought of this like I'm the first person to ever think about this.
No, but it's so cool hearing from a creative with your range say this because it's like it kind of encourages people to take the earlier step, take the harder step first
Yes.
instead of
Yeah.
just going for like the shortcut, which
Yeah,
might
yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
easy in the short term, but like way harder in the long
Yeah,
term.
yeah, yeah. Because it's
Yeah.
perception. Like, I feel like if it's like you have two paths and the first path looks super windy, but then it's a really short, like, distance that you're going. But then you have another path that looks straight, but as you keep going, you realize it's never ending and it is winding. And it's like, Yeah, it looks hard at first. I promise you, it is hard, but it is so much more fulfilling when you're able to get through to the other side.
I love that. Yeah, I love that example. Yeah, the delayed gratification experiment is take a kid and you put them in a room where there is two choices they can make, the two paths. One is you can get one marshmallow right now, or if you wait for the instructor or the supervisor to come back, you get
You'll
like
get
two or
two.
three. Yeah, you get two
Yeah.
marshmallow
Yeah.
if you can wait. They're just going to watch to see what happens. And the kids like that can't hang in there, and as soon as the supervisor walks away, they take the marshmallow.
Yeah.
That's a whole type of person. And then there's another type that actually waits for someone to come back, and then eventually when the person comes back, they give them the extra marshmallows,
Yeah.
and they earned it. And they've done like studies with this test over decades where they follow the lives of those kids as they grew up, and they found some very bizarre trends.
What, like what?
They found that the kids that like grab the marshmallow right away tend to struggle a lot more in life.
Like, is it like impulse control type stuff?
Yeah, it's the inability to, and it's stress related. So like they get a lot of stress from not taking it immediately. So they can't sustain stress very well. So it's like really bad impulse control. And then like it causes some real struggle, some real hardship later on. If they have no
Yeah.
ability to like delay, the gratification comes later. You get more marshmallows later.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, no, I gotta eat this marshmallow now. I don't know if there's gonna be a marshmallow tomorrow." Like, there's a
Yeah.
marshmallow now.
Yeah.
So
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, that's interesting. I definitely feel like I would have been a kid that would have just ate it though.
really?
I feel like I didn't learn patience until way later in life. Like I feel like I and I mean to a point, like there's certain things that I feel like I have had patience for, but I feel like I learned that patience was a good thing. Like I was always resentful
Mhm.
of like, oh, this is taking too long, you know?
But you're
And
so
now I think
consistent. How can you say that? You're so consistent. That's someone who doesn't grab the marshmallow right away. How did you what was the
yeah,
change?
I think I I think it's conflicting with perfectionism. I'm so impatient. I want it done. But the perfectionist side of me is like, but it's not done. So I have to like it's not even like I've crossed the finish line yet because I'm constantly revising, I'm constantly fixing. So I think that's what makes me more consistent is like just trying to get better. But I think as time has passed, like I think my motion patient times were definitely like in my early 20s, but as I've gotten older, I've become way more patient. And I see this now where like, oh my God, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I did not get this level of success that I have in my career today when I was in my early 20s. Like
Oh, that's so interesting.
I honestly think it's so detrimental to the growth of someone to be able to have virality and power and fame so early on because not only does it build the pressure of like there's going to be way more years of you trying to reach that again and you're not at a skilled level yet like you're learning
Mhm.
and I think it takes years decades to really like master a skill and so there's no way that you can be a master at this like in After Effects there's no 13-year-old After Effects prodigy and it's that doesn't exist because it takes so long it's so time consuming and so I think to have somebody get that level of virality and success, it almost like lowers their excitement to want to get better
Oh,
because
interesting.
they've learned that like I'm already great at where I'm at. And I think me not going viral the first time I posted allowed me and gave me room to like know that I had to grow. Like I still had to get better, which just taught me the habit of learning and getting better. And so I think that's way more important than that feeling that you get when you go viral at a young age, what that could do, what insecurities that could build and the pressure of
Mhm.
like, what if I never hit that again? Whereas like
Right.
when you've built the skill, it feels like, oh, I could do that again because I know why it worked and I can definitely do better next time.
Your
Yeah.
background is like very inspiring to me. You posted recently this incredible video kind of showing where you were in the past and then how you recently like purchased a vehicle for your partner, and
Yes.
that arc of like where you
Yeah.
were to where you are now was just
Yeah.
like it warmed my heart, and I know it warms the heart of
Yeah.
others because it's like that just shows that anyone can do it. So is
Totally.
that what you're talking about? Is that like if you were as successful as you were back then, would you have
Yeah.
had what would it have been as meaningful that you from where you're at now?
No, like, it's so I needed to learn. I needed to make mistakes. I needed to, because at the time, when I first started out, I was partying, I was going out, I was being messy, and it's like, that's where I should be doing that, and I should be learning because it's not just like, socially learning, like, I'm learning how to talk to people, I'm learning boundaries and stuff, but I'm also learning my own limits and what I can do and accept what behavior I'm willing to accept and what behavior I'm willing to give out. And I think I needed that. I needed to learn that first before I learned to master my skill. And because I think that my ability to be empathetic and understanding and be like a social person and learn boundaries and all that stuff has made me feel more successful than anything my career can give me, you know? Like, when I think of like success, I'm like, are you a good person? Like, do you have fulfilling relationships? Like, can people rely on you? I think those to me are just like beautiful, and it gives you so much fuel to focus on your career and to focus on these other things because you feel so good in life and you're like, I want to keep doing these amazing things that I'm doing in life. And I feel like I needed to learn those things first before I mastered the skill. And I think now I can focus on like just continuing to learn and spreading like good love and energy and putting out fun videos like that where it's like, I'm not special. I'm not special in the sense of like I wasn't born with the ability to just like sing or like and be talented, you know, like I think that that was a habit. That was a skill that I acquired through just like, you know, putting in that time. I mean, you could argue that the thing that makes me different is that in my brain, I get a chemical response that's like, "Yes, you should continue doing this." But I think that in terms of like how smart I am, like I don't think I'm this super smart person. I don't think that
What?
I'm this, you know, like I think I'm like, you know,
What do you mean
decent.
by that?
Like, in terms of just like, I've always been super, like, I don't feel like I have good diction. Like, I don't feel like I could talk. Like, I don't have really big words. And even that is such a great example of that.
How important is it? I mean, because I feel like your ideas are bigger than your words in this example. Like your ideas are
Yeah.
bigger than what I feel like words can put to.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, I kind of I could see that side of it. I think I've just always been on the side of like hard work, like the labor has always been more significant than the like actual knowledge of it. Like I mean, it's a combination of both, but it definitely like I feel like I'm more on the labor side than like smart side.
So you mentioned Adobe After Effects, and that's like a treasure in my heart. I've been
Yes.
playing with After Effects, using it since 2007. I like to say before the iPhone came out. And so tell me about your Adobe After Effects origin story. How did you get into After Effects? What tutorials were you following online that were like, got it?
Oh yeah. No, I got my list. So basically I was in high school and I was like, I want to do really cool videos like on YouTube, like Mike Diva, Final Cut King, who now just goes by Zach King, and the After Effects God himself, Andrew Kramer. Those were like, I was like, oh my God, I want to do this. And so I started going on videocopilot.net and
Yes.
I was just constantly watching their videos. And my friend in high school, Austin Newell, he pirated After Effects for me. But it's
Ooh.
honestly, I think After Effects got their money's worth. I pirated it, but now I'm a lifelong now I'm stuck in the program, you know. I'm forever gonna give them my money. But I I got that program and I was like, oh, this is I want to learn this. Like I want to do this. And I
Mhm.
think one of the first tutorials I did was someone getting hit by a car. And
Yes.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is so great. And I think I have a video of it. I gotta show you the end result. But Sam's missing his foot in there. Like but it took me like 2.5 days to do this like 30-minute tutorial. And I was so happy. And I remember I showed my grandma the video and she goes, is that real? And I was like, you just set me up for life because now I'm gonna do this forever.
Wow. God,
Yeah.
you're speaking music to my ears. Mike Diva, Andrew Kramer from videocopilot.net.
Yes.
Did you get his Action Essentials 2-pack?
I had the sound effects. I still use the sound effects library till this day.
Wow.
I have like Andrew Kramer once tweeted at me and he said that his daughter watched my tutorial and I was like, "You don't understand, bro. Like you don't understand that you basically created me." Like it's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
If Andrew Kramer saw this clip, what would you want to say?
I hope that you know the legacy that you've left behind. Like you can never open After Effects again and still be so happy with the legacy that you left behind because now I get to benefit from the hard work and time that you've put into crafting these amazing free accessible tutorials that now allows me to create free accessible tutorials for other kids who want to be in this craft. So absolute icon.
Speaking of that, I know you started Jumpstart Designers,
Yes.
and I think we've worked together on a project with
We
Jumpstart Designers with
have.
NFTs, very much aligned with your vision of kind of giving people access to tools. Can you just tell us a little bit about what is Jumpstart Designers? Why did you start it?
Yeah. So Jumpstart Designers is a nonprofit that I made to focus on getting computers and digital art programs to kids and underserved communities. And a big reason why I made that is because I was a kid who didn't have access to that and it's changed my life. And so as soon as I was able to get some money to start this idea up, I went full balls to the wall and we just our first session was this past year 2024 and 100% of the kids graduated from the program. We're gonna
Oh
do a
my God,
session.
congrats. I didn't
they
know about
they
this. This is huge.
Yes, yeah, 100% of the kids who it was a 7-week program. So they had homework assignments, they got a laptop, Intel donated laptops to us, and
Amazing.
Adobe donated subscriptions. And yeah, they were just so amazing and just supporting us. And now at the end of the year, we're going to be doing our second session of giving out computers to kids. And since then, we've had kids who have graduated from high school and they're like, you've made me decide to pursue art and like it's so beautiful. It's so great.
Wow. I mean, you just talked a moment ago about the legacy that Andrew Kramer has left behind on people like you. But now, do you ever reflect on what kind of legacy you're leaving behind for those next generation of kids?
Not yet. Not yet. I want to do more and I feel like I'm just getting started. So I still got a few like a decade more of this and then I'll think about what legacy.
Okay, we'll come back to that in a decade.
Yeah. Yeah, talk to me in 10 years.
Would love to. I mean, I already see the trajectory that you're on. It's going to be unbelievable what you're doing in 10 years. I can't
I'll
even fathom
schedule
it.
you in my Calendly for 10 years from today.
That would be so great. I look forward to that interview. um, So you released a project recently called Drowning, and I think it was like a very like vulnerable piece. And I just wanted to ask you a little bit about what does creative burnout feel like to you?
Oh man, I learned the very hard way, but basically for me, it's a very physical sensation. Like I physically feel it before my brain does. And that's kind of the issue that I had before I learned the tools to watch out for those physical reactions. But basically, I have very high anxiety. Like, I feel this heightened sense of awareness, hypervigilance. It's a very uncomfortable
Mhm.
feeling. And I've learned that if I don't take care of myself, if my brain is constantly running, on a like psychological level, it opens up this part of my brain that is like flight. like I need to go, like I need to hurry up. Like there's a sense of urgency that happens. And so when your body stays at that level and gets no downtime, it is so debilitating. It's so exhausting. You could be so exhausted and not be able to sleep. And that's the worst. And like it rolls over into everything. I'm not able to learn new things. I'm not able
Mm.
to be the person that reliable person, that successful person that I want to be outside of my career. I can't be that when I don't feel good. And so I have learned the tools now. And I think a lot of it's kind of focused in anxiety related stuff. Like I have like OCD, like trauma inflicted OCD. I have like generalized anxiety. And these are all things that kind of really ramp up when I am burnt out. And it's just because my brain is in a state of not being able to challenge those thoughts because I'm exhausted. And so it's really hard when people have kind of those outlining things like depression, anxiety, or OCD. Like those things are always going to be there. But when you are so exhausted that you can't implement the tools that help you on a day-to-day basis, it's like, oh, we're in a different playing field now. And so I now am very strict on how
Mm.
many hours I work and drinking my water and making sure I'm stretching and going outside and doing that stuff. And I'm luckily in a fortunate position to where I don't need to take medication because I'm able to, work from home and have the privilege of going outside and not have to worry about, my boss. And so, yeah, it's definitely like if I don't focus on not being burnt out, I will die.
So are those tools like going outside, you mentioned sleep, drinking
Mhm.
water, are those the tools that you try to make sure you're incorporating to avoid the burnout?
Yeah, it's also being hyper aware of like your body. Like I have to talk to my body. Like my body's talking to me and I need to talk back. I need to figure out what it's saying. I need to translate what's going on. And a lot of that is like trying to do like rational thinking. Like, oh my God, I gotta do this. And hey, let's chill out for a little bit. What's going on? What do we got going on here? I listen
Mhm.
to an amazing TED talk that changed my life. It was talking about how you need anxiety. And it basically, you don't want to get rid of anxiety. Like a lot of times when people have anxious thinking, they're like, I just wish I never felt this. I wish I don't feel like this. And I think for me, it's like, no, like there's many aspects of anxiety that help us. Like he mentions like anxiety, make sure that you double check the email before you send it out. Anxiety, make sure that you wake up in the morning before your meeting. Those are aspects of anxiety that like have a pro.
Mhm.
And when your body can't differentiate good anxiety versus bad anxiety, it can't differentiate excitement and anxiety.
Mhm.
Those both feel the same exact way. And so
Mhm.
you have to build the tools and rational thinking of like, okay, why do we feel this way? Like the best way that he described it was you're the captain and of the ship and your anxiety is your crew. And they're like, there's a rock ahead. There's a rock ahead. Oh my God. Like, we need to stop. And it's like, okay, hold on. Is it a rock? Because you saw a rock last time? Or
Mm.
is it just seaweed? Like
Right.
that rational thinking allows you to be like, oh yeah, maybe it is just seaweed. And it kind of
Mhm.
like builds you back down. So you're not staying at that level of like, oh my God, I need to go, 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 go. And so yeah, that tool has definitely helped me a whole lot.
Did you ever watch that movie, Inside Out?
Have I watched that movie? My therapist recommended it.
Oh, for real?
She was like, you'd love this movie. I was like, oh, would I? I did. I cried.
And did you watch the second one?
Absolutely, I did.
Okay, cool. Because I just like that was like a main character. Anxiety was a main character, and
Yeah.
anxiety actually helped the character Riley navigate a lot of stuff, but
Yeah.
then it kind of started to overstep. So, like,
Yeah.
how do you find your right balance with that character in your head? The anxiety that you need versus the anxiety that's like, all right, hey, take a little break now.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's that hypervigilance. It's the voice in your head that goes, you're walking down a dark alley, maybe you should be on guard. And then if you still have that voice, but you're walking with friends and it's clear as day outside, maybe that voice doesn't need to be there. And so it's that rational thinking of like, okay, why do I feel this way? Does it make sense that I feel this way? And kind of like questioning it, because I think once I shifted my mindset to being like, my anxiety is trying to help. It's not this evil being. It's not this like monster that's like trying to ruin my life. It's the little version of Emonee that's like, should we go down here? Like, are we safe to do this? And like, I should have that voice. I shouldn't walk down a dark alleyway and just be like, no, 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 no. Like that's just not a good idea. And so I think once I started to listen to that voice more and talk to it almost like a baby, almost like a child, where it's like, hey,
Mhm.
why you feel you're gentle parenting your anxiety, basically.
I love that, gentle parenting your anxiety. Did you coin that? I love
No,
that.
no, you should take that.
That's definitely one of those clippable moments. Just
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Yeah, I just
wow,
came up
that's
with
your
that off the top of my head.
I love that. That framework just that positions it so well. Like if I had to describe what you're doing, you're saying you describe it as gentle parenting your anxiety.
Yeah.
That just makes it so clear.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's how you manage anxiety. You gentle
Yeah.
parent it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it's like if that's your kid, you're not going to be mad at it for being curious. You're not going to be mad at it for being scared. Like, oh, it's okay. Like, you don't have to be scared. Like, we're going through this together. Let me hold your hand, you know?
That's so beautiful. I love that visual too. It's like
Yeah,
you're learning to embrace all parts of yourself, not just
yeah,
like excommunicado part of yourself. Like, no, we don't talk about anxiety. We just move out
exactly.
of here. It's like, no, they're a
Yeah.
part of you still.
Yeah, yeah, it's part of you that's trying to protect you, and the more that you can communicate to it, the more like the better your communication is.
True. One thing I've noticed with you is that you've continuously have built alternative paths outside of like main institutions and you make them work. And I was going to ask, what have you learned about creating new systems?
Like in terms of like me being like telling people that film school is bad. Is that what you mean?
Well, just like, starting a nonprofit,
Hmm.
working on the Super Bowl intro, working on incredible music videos, being your own boss.
Yeah.
These
Oh
are
yeah.
paths that aren't shared by many people. Not many people have the luxury of being like, oh, I'm going to make my own. So I was curious
Yeah.
from you, like, what have you learned about making new systems?
Yeah. So I think for me, I always go, oh my God, I want to do this for the rest of my life. But I do that like every 2 years. And so I am so indecisive. And it kind of allows me to be curious and kind of explore different things, which then puts me in different positions. Like the Super Bowl is a symptom of me trying a new thing because I decided that I was going to do concert graphics. And then because I did concert graphics, I ran into an NFT artist. And because I ran into that NFT artist, I went to an NFT party. And that NFT party had one of the producers that ended up hiring me for the Super Bowl. So it's like just these random things that I decide to do. Me expanding like my portfolio and me, being indecisive and doing these new things, exploring has allowed me to get all these random like gigs where it's like, yeah, this is exactly what I wanted to do. And like, I don't know how like, it makes sense how I got here, but it's pretty crazy when you break it down.
I've never heard someone give such a positive perspective to indecisiveness. That's like, that should be the poster child of like, here's how indecisiveness works for you, not against you.
Exactly. Yeah. No, there was one time I had met with a creative director and they wanted to like pitch me for like they were like doing a whole bunch of commercials and they wanted to add my like director deck in. And they're like, oh my gosh, like we love your work and blah, blah, blah. And at the time I was so insecure about my style. And they're like, we love your style. And I was like, really? Because like I feel like I don't have one. And they're like, but that's what's so great, is that we could pitch you to all these different directors or all these different commercials, and you know all these different styles. And so I was like, I never, and like literally that insecurity turned into like, I could capitalize on this. Like it definitely like changed my whole perspective on that. And that's why so many times do like young artists reach out and they're like, I don't have a style, and how did you find yours? And I'm like, if you just keep doing what you like doing, you'll find it. Like, just look at the stuff that you genuinely love seeing, make that stuff. And then that may not be your style, but then you're going to do that again. And you're like, oh my God, I love that stuff. And then you do that so many times that you're able to grab the best parts of every single piece and then make it into your style, you know?
Wow. Yeah, I'm so excited for everyone who gets to listen to this because it's like you're dropping a lot of wisdom that's very actionable. Like you can do stuff with this. It's not just like pie in the sky. You're saying, no, actually, like jump on different projects, try different
Yeah.
things, follow your interests, and then that'll be your truth.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're not so focused on trying to make it happen, that's when it will happen.
Has your identity changed as you've kind of jumped from artist to educator to founder? Who is Imani?
Yeah, I feel like when I was in film school, there were just some rude dudes in there, just like so mean. Like when I look back, I'm like, there's no reason why you should have been that mean. Like, and they taught me that like I'm this very like feminine person in a space that is very like masculine. Like I remember one time I was wearing like this short, like flowy dress, but I had shorts on underneath. It's basically like a long t-shirt. And I was like gaffing on set, and this person was like, why would you ever wear that? How could you ever wear this on set and expect to get respect? I was like, how could a piece of cloth that is literally over, like if the cloth was just shorter and made into a shirt, it would have been acceptable, but because it is a feminine piece of clothing, then it's not respectable. And like
Wow.
I was just like, how could you look at that and not my actual work ethic? Like what I'm wearing, how did I do? Like did I light pretty, like focus on that part. And I think it kind of made me focus more on doing motion graphic stuff because I was like, I don't want people to see me. Like I don't want to be judged on my clothes. And then I remember I was talking to somebody and we are talking about like, oh, what are your future dreams and stuff? And I was like, oh, like maybe one day I'll work for an animation studio. And then they're like, I bet you could probably own one. And in that moment, I was like, I've never even considered that. A big part of it was that I've never seen anyone that looked like me who was owning animation studios to where it was like, this is attainable. And like I remember after doing Jumpstart and I'm a very like statistic and like logical person. Like emotions aside, let's try to break down how this affects our economy or how this affects society and stuff. And one of the studies that I found was that in colleges that had predominantly white professors, they had found that Black students had lower completion rates. And then they found that colleges that had professors that were Black, that those Black students had higher completion rates. And so what they shown was that statistically, representation does affect the outcome of people's mindsets, where it's like, I could be this one day. And when everything feels so against you unconsciously, because it's not like they're like, I don't have a Black professor, so I'm going to drop out. It's like you're seeing this, and if it's unconsciously affecting you in the same way that it did for me, where it's like I could never imagine myself owning my own studio because I never saw it. And so that type of shifting made me think, I want to be a voice. Like I want to be front and center. I want to be feminine. I want to be like, I know what I'm talking about and I'm wearing acrylic nails. And like you're going to have to get over the fact of how I look.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then you're just going to get left behind. And it's so funny because now all those people who all those men who are just so rude to me, where are they now? Where are they? Like it's
Mhm.
like if you guys focus that energy on just being a good person and being good at what you do, maybe you would be somewhere. And now I'm just like, I want to advocate for people to look however you want to look. If it's messy, if it's clean, if it's feminine, if it's masculine, do it. just tell me the right thing. Just be on your stuff, you know? Like, I
Mhm.
don't care how you look, just like make sure that you're knowledgeable. And so I think that kind of pushed me into wanting to be an educator. And it made me want to be like, no, I'm going to be a voice in this. And I've had so many women of color reach out to me and just like privately and just be like, I appreciate like your presence. And it's really made me feel like I could do this. I get those messages all the time and so beautiful that like I felt like I wanted to be very intentional about this. And to get that, it's like, yes, yes, we did it, you know? Like it's just it's so cool, you know? And so I think that has definitely shifted me into wanting to be an educator. It's made me want to be more on camera and, you know, using my voice and expressing that like, you know, there's people who look like me in same economical positions that were, you know, maybe doubted when they were younger. And it's
Mm.
like, you can do it. Like, I promise you, you can. This is the formula that you need: hard work and consistency. You could do it.
I feel like I wanna add to your formula. Hard work and
Ooh.
consistency are fantastic, but
Mm-hmm.
you have another element that you've been doing that you've added to your equation, but you didn't include it in that equation. Authenticity. That should be one of your
Yeah.
other that's like because you 'cause you're also being you.
Yeah.
You're not, if the folks around you say you don't look the part, you're kinda like, "I'm actually gonna just be the part."
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. No,
like,
that's a good
look how
authenticity.
yeah, how do you wanna look? Whatever. I'm just gonna be the role that I need to be, and they
Yeah.
probably hate that. They're just like, "Damn it. She's outsmarted our plot. We thought we could stop her by telling her she doesn't look the part, but she just realized she could invent anything. Damn it."
Yeah. 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 Literally. Literally.
Oh, that's so awesome. I feel like you were
That's the
so
triangle,
what's the triangle?
trifecta. Authenticity, hard work, and consistency.
There it is. And the result is
Result is whatever your heart desires.
hey, that's a yeah, straight up. That's a good formula for life in general. Consistency, hard work, authenticity equals
Authenticity.
whatever you what
Whatever
was
your
it
heart
again?
desires.
Whatever your heart desires. That's freaking
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of shifts in the visual mediums recently, in the last 2 years in particular.
Mhm.
AI has become a increasingly pushing force in all domains. And the
Mhm.
last like 4 or 5 months, I've been starting to see AI even dip its toes into motion graphics and
Mhm.
animations. And I wanted to kind of just ask you, what are your thoughts? How do you approach the conversation of AI as Imani?
Yeah. So I think that AI is such a powerful tool. Like it is such an amazing tool for artists like myself to be able to capitalize on for doing mundane tasks that kind of took me away from being creative. And I think what I'm able to utilize, and honestly, what I'm able to understand the most with the AI tools that I use is that you need a lot of input. Like, I can't be like, hey, give me an idea for my next video. Like, a lot of it's like, here is all of the information. Here's everything that I've done. Here's all the stuff that I want to do. And like, you're basically like training it at this point. And then the answer that it gives you, to me, I'm able to like grab pieces from it. I feel like a little collage like maker. Um, because it alleviates a lot of that time consuming stuff. So like I don't really have it on a creative end, but more of like in After Effects, if I'm looking to do this effect and I have this going and I want to do this, what effect could I do?
Mm.
That kind of like gives me ideas. And I'm like, oh, like there's been so many times where it's given me so many wrong ideas, but then it's led me to be like, that made me think of blah, blah, blah. It's just kind of like another person in the room that I'm able to like bounce off of. And a lot of times they're wrong, but a lot of times they're right. And I think that if I can utilize this as a tool rather than a replacement, that's where I feel confident in. But I think that it feels very scary for a lot of people who are starting out. And I don't think that it could replace my job because I am very, like, I'm a decade in to this. But it's very daunting for people who are year 1 and 2 in. Because when this thing can produce something that is better than what you could do, and you spent all this time doing it, it's like, huh, why should I even do this? This feels pointless. And they're not able to get over that hump of like the trial and error because there's something bigger and better than them. And so it's a love-hate relationship. I think that once we start removing people from the process, I think it could get very messy. And like I think I saw recently like an animation being made for like a music video where they implemented all of these assets that they hand created, and then it kind of just like what they trained it to
Mhm.
then create new assets based on what they built. That felt a little more, like, yeah, you made 3 buildings, but now this thing is able to make 20 buildings with your style, and it's not stealing from other people's stuff, it's using your stuff. That felt like, okay, this is good. But like, I'm all for like using AI tools, because in After Effects and Photoshop and all these programs, all of our favorite editing programs, they utilize AI. And so it's stupid to just be like, oh, well, no AI at all. And it's like, but there's literally tools that don't steal from other artists that help you, but you're cutting that out because it just has the term AI on it. Like AI is so vague, like Siri's AI, like your search engine's AI. So there is elements to it that I do like, but I know you're on the side on the other side of this. So like, how do you feel when people are not for this? And like, what's your point of view in that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been feeling conflicted increasingly. It's why I joined the latest company that I'm at right now as a full time at Moon Valley. We licensed a whole model. We trained it only on licensed data. We did not scrape the internet. And you can
Yes.
generate new things and you will not get sued because every license is in the brain of our model, Mary. So
Hmm.
this has been what I've been working on the last 7 months, kind of quietly. Was like, I want to be able to put my name on AI stuff, but I want to reduce the amount of death threats that I'm getting. And I think that
No.
the easiest way is if I worked at a company that didn't steal and could prove it, then I could talk about AI and not have the same amount of death threats. And it's been working
No. Do they really?
just for teaching it, showing off a tool. And some of them are like trolly and they're not, you don't take too seriously. Three of
Yeah.
them were like serious that I had to like take up and report externally. Yeah. So like,
Okay, that's crazy.
yeah, this person didn't even, at least the scariest one wasn't even scared, not hiding their identity. They left like a
They're like,
long
come after
DM.
me.
Well, they explained why they were going to harm me and why and like and when. Yeah. I know I was like scared at going to like public events after that for a little bit.
So sorry. That sounds terrible.
I know it was bad, but like to this person, this was life or death to them, so that they were like willing to threat life or death because it was life or death for them. They were a video editor here in Hollywood. They've worked on a lot of stuff, and I showed a tool that can like do the type of editing that this guy is like known for really well.
Wow.
And he was like, "I pay my bills. I'm the only earner in my family. I have kids." And one of my clients follows you. And if you do not stop sharing this tool, I'm going to stop you. I'm going to do something to stop you from doing that. And I was like, my God.
It's so crazy because it's like on an emotional level when people have like invested so much of their time into this thing, and out of nowhere it feels like rushed, where it's like if you spent 10 years, crafting, and then out of nowhere it's like, oh yeah, we're going to take this from you. Like that feeling of that.
Mm,
It does feel like, you're right, it does feel like life or death. It's wow. I'm so sorry. That's so crazy. But now you're going towards like what is considered a very ethical way of like creating generative art.
yeah, I mean, so in some sense, I guess I'm happy I got the death threats because it motivated me to care a bit more about ethics.
That's a positive perspective.
I was like, oh, you know what?
You know what? Maybe I don't want to die.
Yeah. And also, like, I've been able to diffuse so many more conversations now where they start to get heated. Someone like saw that I worked at an AI company, and they didn't look into Moon Valley. They didn't look at how we're doing things. They
Yeah.
just saw AI, and they started getting really angry at me, and they left a long DM about how this is horrible. And I'm like, we don't do that. We don't steal. And they're like, what do you mean? You're using AI? I'm like, no, like we train on licensed data. We paid for every
Yeah.
part of its brain. And then they're like, I wasn't expecting you to say that.
Did they apologize?
No, no, they just stopped messaging after that. But I think, like, they it caught them off guard. They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
No,
you
I
don't
did
have to
that one
steal?"
time with someone who was coming at me for like NFT stuff.
Oh, for
Like
real?
this was like when you remember when that article got produced where it's like one NFT can power the electricity of this house for years. And it's like completely false information. It's like people are just going off of that. And by that time, Ethereum was way more like green friendly and stuff. It cut down like emissions of like 94%. And
Yeah.
but that article had like blown up. And I remember this person came to my TikTok and was like, how dare you, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, you're disgusting. And they came to my Instagram and I was like, hey, if you want to have a conversation, let's have a conversation. This is how this works, blah, blah, blah. And then they were like, I didn't know that you were going to say that. So my bad. And I was like, look, it's all good. Just like, don't be calling people disgusting online. Like, that is crazy. Like, I've never in my entire life, I've never been like, I'm going to comment something terrible on this person just so that they know that I don't like them. Like, I don't get the mindset of someone who does that. Like, I'm going to ruin this person's day. It is funny though. Every now and then I'll get a comment where it's they roasted me. Like they
Oh.
got me good. Like there was one time I posted a selfie and my room was a mess. And someone left a comment and was like, damn girl, how you gonna post a video and how you gonna post a picture and your room looks like that? Ain't that a bottle of crystal hot sauce in the background? You dirty. I was like, I never felt so embarrassed. I was like, I'm gonna delete this because this is rude, but I'm gonna give you points for being funny.
I
I
mean,
definitely took
it's
it
so
back.
funny. And some comments can be useful out there.
Yeah.
Not all of
Yeah.
them,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that's funny when they get you good and you're like, "Ooh."
Damn, you got me. Yeah, I know. Every now and then I'll get a comment where I'm like, damn, that was so mean, but that's so funny. Like, I gotta block you though.
So I feel like your approach to social media feels very similar to mine. Do you have any advice for folks that are like, how do I communicate with people online like you? What would you say?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is like when it comes to like my comments, I probably get like 1% of negative comments. Like it's really rare for people to just be downright mean. And I think a big part of that is because I feel like I create an environment that feels inviting, like in my comments. And like I am always like it like in my description. I'm like, if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out. And I think creating a space that makes people feel comfortable, I think really can change and mold the environment that you want to create. And I think because I'm always responding back to people, it feels like I am like their friend. I'm creating relationships and I feel like why be on social media if we're not going to connect with each other? And like I'm nothing without my supporters. I'm nothing without them being able to like support my new endeavors, you know? Like why wouldn't I give them the same energy back that they give me or at least try, you know? Like I know it takes time to like respond back to everyone, but I really do try to be as grateful as I am because I am like I appreciate like I'm always like I appreciate you because I do. It's like this is so cool that I get to just live out my dream and it's because you're commenting and liking my stuff. Hell yeah, thank you. This is the least I could do, you know? Like
For real.
I think just creating that environment, it's very much like you get back what you give. When you have no expectations of getting back, and it's like, let's say I did do that. Say I did cut them off and then I got a car accident and then it messed up my back and then my life's messed up forever. And it's like that stuff leads your whole life and all negative energy stays negative. And so if I just stay positive, then it must be positive, like that just makes sense to me.
I love your framework. It's so positive and uplifting, and I'm really excited for people to hear it. Is there any other rabbit holes that you've been obsessed with lately? Anything that you've been like super intrigued with that are deep dives or yeah, anything?
I've been taking a deep dive into Rick and Morty. Like I've watched Rick and Morty all the way through, but I love explainer videos on YouTube. There's this guy, his name is Omar something, but he makes like video essays of like episodes of like Adventure Time and stuff. And he
Ooh.
made one of Evil Morty. And I've watched Rick and Morty tons of times, but I think being able to see it in this very like analytical way, I'm like, this is so good. I never thought about it like this. Because I feel like that was the creator's intention, is to be really like thoughtful and intentional. And I could enjoy it as an adult animation, but I could also enjoy it as this very like, whoa, like that was so crazy that they even thought about that. So I have been taking a real deep dive into Rick and Morty lately.
Rick and Morty is so good. I love it. I
Yeah.
love their the Roy simulator.
Which one's that?
When you get to live your life as a person named Roy your entire life, and then when you die, you're just in an arcade in an alien universe.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
It's just
Yes.
a
And he's like,
game.
"Where's my wife?"
Yeah, that one messed with me. I was like, "Damn,
Yeah.
Roy the
Yeah.
game." It's like,
Yeah. I
whoa.
know. I know. That's so funny. Like, it's such a sad thing. And then he completely forgets when he just is like, oh yeah, let's go do this now. It's like,
Yeah,
oh my God. It's very similar to are you a fan of Adventure Time at all?
yeah, big time fan.
Okay, so I have taken such a deep dive on Adventure Time that I know all the lore.
Ooh,
But okay, do you remember the pillow episode where Finn crawls into like this pillow kingdom and he falls asleep basically? Anyways, he stumbles across this place and the door is shut and he lives his entire life there with his pillow princess and defeating like pillow dragons and stuff. And eventually he's like, well, I need to go back to my real world. But he never gets there. He dies in this like pillow universe and then he sees Glob, who like is that big red baby. He's a destroyer of
oh
universes. And so when
yes.
you see him there, it's like, oh, this is the end of that universe. He sees him on his way out and he gets out. And before he leaves, his wife goes, never forget us. And then of course he leaves and Jake's like, oh yeah, look at this. And then he's like, what were you talking about with your dream? And he's like, oh, I forgot. The episode ends and it's like, my God. It's so
Wow.
crazy. Yeah.
What's the
It's so
lesson
good.
there, you think, that they're trying to convey?
Finn goes into this world to try to escape because he's, heartbroken and stuff. And one of my favorite lines is Jake, he has a cup. He's like, see, like this cup, this is my favorite cup. And he throws it out of the window. He's like, and now it's gone forever. And like, he's like, life just moves on. And Finn is like, kind of like so fixated on his heart being broken that he tries to cope with escapism and eventually comes out and he's like totally fine. But I don't know. I feel like a big part of that is just finding ways that you can cope that aren't completely detrimental to you.
That's a great
That's what I would
lesson. I'm gonna
hope.
rewatch that episode. That sounds like I love that perspective. Yeah.
I think
Great
it's called
shows.
Poyo. It's Puohoi.
Yo. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
definitely
I
gonna look
think
that
that.
up.
Yeah, yeah.
Imani, if people wanted to follow your work and they don't know how to spell, how would they spell exactly what they should look up to find you?
It's crazy. You want to know crazy thing? I'm the only Imani LaRussa that exists on this entire planet. So if you type in my first name on Google, I will come up. That is
How
like the biggest flex ever.
that
Like
is
if a
really
new
cool.
baby comes up named Imani LaRussa, gotta take him out. I gotta be the only one that's an Imani
Only
LaRussa.
one.
But yeah, there's only one. But yeah, if you just type in Emonee in Google, all of my stuff will pop up.
Nice.
YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, maybe even Twitter.
Perfect. Do you have a preference on any of those?
Instagram all day. That is my primary home. That's where I'm always like talking to people and it's where I put most of my energy into. So, Instagram.
Okay,
TikTok
perfect.
is
And then
don't.
are you ever going to release a book?
You know what? I don't feel like I should. And the reason why is because I don't read. I feel like I'd be such a hypocrite if I'm like, "Oh, go buy my book." And it's like, "Did you read it?" And it's like,
What about with your voice? What if you voiced it?
I think I'd do that.
Audiobook?
That sounds more up my alley than an actual, but like I would create a book for people who like weren't able to like hear. Like I would make it accessible, but like I wouldn't be like, "Come read my book." Cause like I don't even be reading, so
Okay. I'm just curious because I feel like you have so much wisdom. I would love to like see it in a thing that I could buy and I can hold and like put up on my wall. Like I know Imani deeply now from having this book that's also an audiobook that's accessible.
I'll record it all on a tape recorder and I'll give it to you.
That's perfect. That'll be great.
Yeah, because then you'll have the physical.
Yes. I can
Yeah,
hold it and feel like this is it. This is the
yeah, yeah,
copy.
yeah. Or on vinyl. I'll put it on vinyl for you.
That's a trip. I've never heard anyone do that. An audiobook on vinyl?
Hey, should I be the first one?
I've never heard of that. And like that sounds really cool. And also like
That's
that'd
kind of
be a whole
badass.
experience too. Like
Yeah.
then you have the artwork, you would design the whole art
Uh-huh.
for it, and the material will look cool. It's
Look at that.
tangible, it's
Look
analog.
at that.
Yeah. I think it's a great idea.
I'm gonna trademark it right now
Perfect.
after this call.
I'm expecting it. Well, Mani, thank you so much for jumping on the Rethink Reality podcast. And I'll go ahead and stop the recording now.
Yay!